and it did not come. So at the same time, a lot of people were propagating really about this head and shoulders formation that we see it at the break of this level, where the blue box ends, should open the way for a big sell-off. Well, it did not come. So it means the euro is rather supported. It's not completely weak at all. So when we trade, we want to trade something strong against something rather weaker for the moment. Simply because then we have less resistances and we can probably expect a larger move to happen. The pound yesterday was sold off massively, despite the Bank of England actually increasing interest rates, which is the most positive thing for a currency to do for it to gain value. But it was so hopelessly overbought already with all the issues in the UK that the increase of the rate hike yesterday was not enough for the market, simply because it was not the beginning of an tightening cycle. It was just a one and done kind of interest rate hike. So the pound is rather weak. It didn't die off just yet, but it's close to the 200-day moving average. So we have probably here more of a support coming. We have this inner trend line. We have the 200-day moving average. We have the 130. You know, these round figures, they're always also a support, more or less. So it could be more difficult for it to just run through here. When it gets through here, it probably opens the door for a bigger sell-off. So the pound, okay, but with limited downside potential. So where are we right now up to here? Well, that's still 80 pips. So that's still something handsome you can trade, really. Aussie, week today. Also, retail sales came in with 0% out of Australia. We have generally, well, the central bank in Australia is saying they don't want to join the cycle of tightening that we are seeing globally. And that pushed really the Australian dollar to the downside, despite, you know, it has been on trading very high levels. So it's just back into its range. And chances are it will continue to drive down. And the central bank in Australia really wants that. So maybe the Aussie could be something interesting to sell today based on the expectation that the currency already is weak. So what do? I think another very important, the Kiwi is also a lot of uncertainty with the new government that formed, that's not really market friendly per se. Then we also, they want to change the mandate of the central bank in New Zealand. So a lot of reasons why the currency not necessarily able to gain strength. Yes, we saw some correction. We had a massive drop. So also rather on the, if I see a strong number out of the US, I either sell the pound or the Aussie or the Kiwi. Those are to me the weaker ones if the dollar is strong. If the dollar, however, doesn't come in strong, if the employment number doesn't come in strong, then what do we do then? Well, I think personally, dollar yen, we continue to struggle with this 114 level here since almost now 2-3 weeks, even more. So 114 has been recently a very difficult level to overcome for the dollar. And the dollar yen is more than just a currency pair. It's usually something like an indicator for risk-taking appetite in the market. And you can see it's not really there, at least not in terms of US dollar risk appetite. And again, then we have this formation here. We've revisited this level for the third time this year. And always saw a very big move back down when we were not able to establish higher here. So chances are, if we don't see a strong NFP number, that the dollar yen comes down. Probably we have room to the 113. I wouldn't expect like huge of a move today. But if we see a weaker number out of the US, I'm inclined to sell dollar yen. And what happens when dollar yen tanks? Well, usually gold goes up. Why? Because gold and yen are both safe haven currencies, or safe havens, because gold is not necessarily a currency, but a safe haven. So meaning if the dollar loses value, gold gains and yen gains. So those are pretty much the ones I want to look at most. And let's just put up this one here. So here we have dollar yen, here is gold. Here's pound. Okay, I want to put on a 30-minute time frame. I think it's better. So we see also the ATR levels. Where is